Hello! Hello YouTube on live stream for the first time since February 9th, 2022. So hello, welcome everyone. Yeah, it's good to have everyone here from YouTube. I've been streaming on Twitch for the last 3 months and I enjoyed streaming, but most of my audience is on YouTube, so I thought, well, let's come back to YouTube. Let's give YouTube a try. And hello to everyone. There's a lot of people already in the chat. Hello. The greatest thing is I completely forgot that Ben was still a mod from all those years ago. So now we have Danky from the Twitch modding, and we also have Ben as the mod. So this could actually cause chaos. I have no idea if this is going to work. We shall find out very shortly. So I'm to be honest, I'm just happy to have someone to be the foil to Yankee. So yeah, hello, welcome. As the title of the stream suggests, we are going to be doing some kit bashing. We're going to be taking that Turnip28 aspect. If you've never heard of Turnip28, have a look on Google. We might dip into it a little bit on the stream, but it's essentially a kind of like quite a dark, humorous, post-apocalyptic, Napoleonic war game set in a universe where turnips have kind of taken over. Yeah, it's a really strange concept. Really, if you know about it, you understand. If you don't, go and have a look at it. Go and read it. There's a lot of interesting, cool artwork and stuff. But yeah, so that's what we're going to be doing today. I will undoubtedly get sidetracked and go on a tangent at some point during the stream. I don't know when. We've got 3 hours to get through this evening, so it could be at any point. It could be in the next 10 minutes. It could be in an hour and a half. It's probably going to be the next 10 minutes. But either way, if you've been watching the Twitch stuff, then you are if you've been watching the Twitch stuff, you'll know full well what I'm like. And also you get to enjoy this little Twitch in joke. For anyone who's been watching the Twitch streams, you understand what the whole little spinning custard cream biscuit is all about there. So yeah, we're just going to go straight into it. Let's not beat around the bush. So we have the surface that we're going to be working on, and we also have a sprue of the new what are they called? Steel helms. Cities of Sigmar Free Guild steel helms. This is what we're going to be basing everything on, because this is kind of like the most bog standard infantry that you have now for Cities of Sigmar. These kind of replace all the old Empire stuff. So yeah, that's what we're going to be working on. It's going to be using this as the basis. We're going to be doing a little bit of kit bashing, a little bit of sculpting, a little bit of modification of what's on the sprue. I have no idea what I'm going to do. We're going to do it as we go along. We're going to figure it out. I've got a few boxes I think might be useful. I've got some goblins, I've got some flesh eater quartz, and I've got some Nurgle stuff. So I might dip into those, might not do. I'm going to try and I would like, best intentions in the world, to actually build this as a full force. Whether or not that will be the case, we'll see. So ideally, if I can kind of keep it down to a minimum and kind of have more conversion spread across a larger number of units, that's the ideal thing. That's the hope. We shall see. First thing we need to do is probably remove some of these from the sprues and start cleaning things up. Also, hello to everyone in the chat. I've been kind of looking at it. I'm used to being on Twitch where I'm getting about like 50 viewers, so there's a lot more people on the stream than I'm used to. So I'm trying to keep an eye on how many people are in here. But yeah, there's a few people. We've got a few channel members on here as well. We Paint Minutes. Hello, just saw you pop up. Hello, welcome. Yeah, we'll try to see if there is a anyone that I recognise from. I understand that some people do have different names on Twitch than they do on YouTube. So if you've come over, followed over from the Twitch streams, then thank you very much. Thank you everyone who did watch me over on Twitch. But I do think YouTube's going to be the best place for this. We also might do some game streams as well. That's one of the things I was talking about. Let's just start off with this guy, nice and straightforward. D8, D9, and D10. Let's grab those. Yeah, so I'm thinking about doing some game streams. Warhammer stuff, though. Going to be things like Vermintide, Total War. And if there's a few people who would be interested in joining me to play some Vermintide. I think it'd be easier to play Vermintide with a few people who understand that I'm there in a streaming capacity and not necessarily doing it to be super competitive. Find, there we go. That's 9. Okay, cool. Yeah, I hope everyone's had a good weekend so far. It's quite warm here in the UK, unusual. Gramberg, thank you very much for your super chat. Thank you very much. Will you use dead vegetable bits instead of dead animal bits? To be honest, there is a distinct lack of dead vegetable bits in Warhammer, so I think we're going to have to do a little bit of streaming. Not a little bit of streaming, a little bit of sculpting. That's the word I'm looking for. We're going to do some sculpting. Can anyone shortly explain what the thing he's trying to make? What I'll do is, whilst I'll do this, I'm going to quickly... Let's have a quick... It's tangent. Right, 5 minutes in. It's not a tangent. We're explaining the concept. Right, let's... Right, okay. Let me make sure that's on. Move OBS over there. Cool. Okay. Turnip28. So yeah, there's lots of sources, but we're just gonna have a quick look at some images. And so the basic premise is, so these are like the official miniatures. It's kind of like miniatures agnostic, but there are some official miniatures. It's kind of like a very grimdark Napoleonic fantasy thing. So the idea of it is that things look, I mean, there's some really cool kind of, if you understand what Hieronymus Bosch, the kind of the paintings that you're aware of them, sorry, then it's very much in that kind of sphere and realm. So yeah, Turnip28, have a look at it. You can see this kind of artwork. So Cities of Sigmar works really well for this kind of aesthetic, so we're going to be looking at that. Dynamite the band. Yeah, so we're going to be using some of these. So it's not a tangent. This is not a tangent. This is on topic. The title of the video talks about Turnip28, so we're allowed to. This is not a tangent. I'm still on track. Still on track so far. We made better progress than we did last time. So if you weren't there for the Twitch streams, basically what I spent most of my time doing was doing these guys, some raptors. I'm trying to build these out into my 40k for 10th edition. Let's make sure the actual things are, there we go. So I built a squad of 3 of these, and then I'm kind of in the process of building out some heavy intercessors for the second squad. So that's what I was doing there. I'll probably come back to those over on YouTube streamings, but for now, I fancy doing something a bit different. So we're just going to give these guys a quick clean up, and we're going to jump straight into modifications. So one of the things that you might have noticed from the pictures is that everything's very ragged, everything's very kind of almost rotten. If you imagine existing in a perpetual swamp, the whole countryside is just an absolute swamp that's been, all the life's been sucked out of it by this almost parasitic root vegetable that's taken hold, and then anywhere that hasn't been destroyed by the root vegetable has been destroyed by a constant war that's going on. It's almost like a rot that's entered into the world. So we're going to take that aesthetic and we're going to apply it to Cities of Sigmar, because there's a lot of stuff, there's a lot of wiggle room in Age of Sigmar for this kind of stuff. I don't want to make this guy like a Nurgle cultist or anything like that. I want to keep it nice and on topic. It needs to be something which is still quote unquote good, but there is a lot of wiggle room still. So yeah, a lot of kind of swampy places, like in the realm of is it Gyron? The realm of life. So someone in the comments can confirm that. Holy Emu, Kitbashed a Demon Prince. It's the first time using green stuff. Oh, yeah, it's quite an impressive one to go for as well. I think that might have been like one of the first ones I did. I did a Nurgle Demon Prince back in the day. Fives, I want to thank you. You're a big inspiration for me. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm glad that my stuff is useful to you. So many dead bodies, the ground can't grow anything anymore. So it's very grim, but it's also one of those kind of things which is also very grim on one hand, and then on the other hand you have these little weird little snail people, little weird little fish things. Yeah, it's kind of a very, it's all over the place, but it's very. If you're into like especially the older style Games Workshop stuff, it's very much on theme with that. Let's cut that away. That's a little bit. I never understood why the gates that the sprues put in. I'm actually doing any of this on camera. Any of the gates that the sprues put in are on the contact points. I guess it's good in a way because it kind of hides them, hides any imperfections, but it also makes assembling them a lot more tricky. There's a big mold line down that leg there. So yeah, I'm not sure really what to go for here. Should I do some modifications first to the torso? Should I cut some holes in it, make some like ragged? There's not much in the way that I can probably do a little bit on the armor plate. I might do some shallow pock marks on the chest plate. I don't think I'm going to spend too much time on that. I'm just going to make sure this is quickly done. Again, the good thing about Turnip stuff is it's all very gritty. We Paint Mini is going to attempt green stuff in my next kit bash. What you need is Vaseline and rubber tip sculpting tools are the two biggest things that improve my stuff. Don't slice yourself on stream. I haven't done so yet, so it's all good. I've been to streaming for 3 months and doing these conversions, so it's all good. So fingers crossed. Actually, I'm more likely to stab myself with a pin vise. I just left that on a reel. Deathcore arms. Deathcore arms could work. Yeah, they could be really nice for doing some like if you're doing what they're called now. There's some gunners in Cities of Sigmar. I can't remember what they're called, but yeah, there's some gunners. But yeah, I want to use this really as something which is kind of a usable army, basically. Something which is, you can look at units and be like, okay, that's steel helms, that's the gunners, that's the this and that's that. But I really kind of go to town with the conversions, and I think there's a lot of wiggle room with these guys. But yeah, someone has said where are we going? I just saw something and it moved to. Would you call the Cities of Sigmar more Italian than Germanic? The cuirass kind of sells it for me when looking more condottieri. Like, one name is very Germanic. So, Cities of Sigmar are kind of strange, aren't they? They're a little bit of a mismatch of a lot of different cultures. I guess in the same way that the original... Is this the right torso? Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure if these torsos. So first thing we're going to do, pin vise, standard old pin vise. We're going to do a little bit of pockmark onto the cuirass. Someone said using textured paint, and Yankee's already trying to rile me up. Fusiliers, that's the word. Thank you, regulator. Yankee's already trying to wind me up by talking about biscuits. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I've had 2 streams completely derailed by biscuits. We're not going to make the debut stream on YouTube yet another devolution into deciding what biscuits are and aren't biscuits. Right, okay, so a little bit more of a pockmark to do there. Let's just dig that in a little bit more. So yeah, the good thing about doing these kind of things, you can just, hopefully if I get the focus bloody right, where we go. There. So you can just about see that it's a little bit shallow, so you don't want to go through the full. So if you imagine this is the thickness of the armor plate, you want to keep it no deeper than that, because you ideally want it to look like either it's been dented or it's been dinged or there's a little bit of corrosion going on there. This is a really good little tip if you want to do some work on Nurgle miniatures as well. If you want to take non-rusted metal and make it look rusted and corroded and things like that. It's good for battle damage on Space Marines as well. Just little shallow marks. And if I could be bothered, I'd dig out the larger size bits that I have for this pin vise, and I would... Right, is that armor or not? I don't think it is. I think it's just the cuirass, if I'm not mistaken. It's just at the front, isn't it? Yeah, it's just at the front. It's just the front plate and the thing on the back. Okay, that's it. That's what we're going to do. Oh, little knee pads. Let's do some on the knee pads. So the good thing as well, one of the kind of tenets, is it tenets or tenets of rules? One of the rules of Turnip28, or one of the kind of guidelines, I guess, it's not so much a rule, is when you're building your models, everything is very much what's referred to as visor down. So the faces are hidden, and it kind of adds this nice effect of the models being dehumanized in a certain way because you can't see the faces, and also means you don't have to paint any faces, which is obviously quite a good thing, saves a lot of time. So yeah, we're gonna have to figure out how to get, because I'll show you the heads. If you're not aware, all the heads have got, those are the heads. So we need to figure out a way. So there's a couple of different options. The first thing that I'm going to try, I don't know if it will work, it might do, it might not do, is I'm basically just going to cut off the head completely and just kind of drill in some holes into here. So this almost becomes, this is the whole head then, but it might be a bit too small. I'm not sure. I could maybe bulk it out a little bit. I don't know yet if that will work, but there are some other options that I've got. I've got some Boingrot bounders, the goblins with the little kind of peaked noses. I could do that. I could just do some straight up sculpting. It's a lot of things we can do, so we'll see how it goes. But we'll come to that bridge when we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Okay, so first little bits all done. Look at that, 17 minutes in the stream, and I've done more than I have done in the last few Twitch streams. Yankee, just happy that the painting phase isn't raiding. Yeah, no biscuit tangents this time. No. Hick Dead, I remember you from Twitch. Hello, welcome to the old YouTube channel. Bill Making Stuff, hello, welcome to my stream. Right, so we're going to put a bit of glue. So, I mentioned this before actually. So I normally use Tamiya extra thin cement. But one of the things I've started doing, if I'm gluing together two sections where I know I've got like a seam and I want to kind of fill the seam in a little bit, I use the regular Tamiya cement. However, the Tamiya cement comes with, look at the brush this comes with. Look how big that brush is. It's great if you're probably doing vehicles, but if you're doing anything smaller than like a Land Raider, that's just far too big. So I took a spare brush from... This is top tips now. This is what you tune in for. Took a spare lid and brush from the Tamiya Extra Thin. Now the problem with this is it just kind of has a habit of really getting stuck up in the top there. So if you ever do this, just wipe away the excess, because you'll be trying to apply a tiny little dainty amount of glue onto the surface, and it'll just flood and completely ruin the miniature. Which is not too bad if you're doing something like this, because it's kind of like goes with the territory. Distorted, rusted armor is not too bad, but yeah, just a little tip for you there. There we go. So even if you don't get anything else from the stream, there's that. Which, let's face it, that might be the best thing about the stream, to be honest. You can probably just leave now, really. That's going to be it. That's the best you can expect. Probably could have applied a little bit more glue. No worries, we can cover that up later on. So yeah, it's kind of the good thing about Turnip28 is it's very much free reign, I think. There are certain... I don't know if someone... I don't know if someone actually pointed that out, which one it was, tenets, whatever. One of the rules, one of the laws, one of the guidelines of building stuff is to... You can kind of go free reign. As long as you follow those few simple rules, then anything else goes, kind of thing. So there we go. Really straightforward. We've got a torso already. There we go. HD, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the... I'm the UK printer for T28. ping me for any veg bits. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. I might do that. Thank you. I still use Plastic Magic you recommended, but I can imagine Tamiya is cheaper. So yeah, Plastic Magic is really good if you're doing Rubicon kits. So Rubicon models, their plastic is slightly different. I don't know what it is there's slightly makeup. The makeup is slightly different, but Plastic Magic is really good for that. And it's a very similar concept. The only reason I've started using Tamiya is just because it's easy to get a hold of. Plastic Magic is still good. I used to have to buy Plastic Magic in bulk because it was quite difficult to find, and often if you found it would be about 3-4 times the price. I don't hobby much. The Tamiya extra thin always frustrates me. Seems like no matter how carefully I brush off excess, no glue makes it on the Mini. If I don't brush it off at all, it's flooded. But I'm unlucky like that with the hobbing. Try the regular one then. Just try the regular one. It's a little bit thicker. It's not quite as it's a little bit more viscous, I think, so it kind of stays where you put it a little bit more. Turnip28 rules are more like guidelines than actual rules. They are. Can't afford Tamiya. Use a Hobby Lobby version. It doesn't glue very well. I've not tried that one. I know Hobby Lobby is a US thing, if I'm not mistaken. Do you think the Mark III heads would work for these guys? Probably a bit too big. Probably a bit too big. Maybe on some of the larger models, maybe, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Room 195. Hey, I'm pretty new to the hobby and kitbashing. I would love to fix the new Orc Boys to make them a little bit different. Can you suggest a good saw to not destroy the arms that I tried to swap? So yeah, if you go down, I think it's linked in the description actually. It's like this little saw that I've got. So this is the finer blade, so it's like a little bit of a kind of like a hobby saw. It's really useful. I've used it in quite a few months. Probably thinner than my scalpel is, and it's really good for cutting through things. If you compare it to like hobby saws, they're a little bit more. Look how old it's got actual rust on it. That's how long I've had this one for. It's a really old Citadel saw. I think I've had that about 15 years, maybe longer. I don't know, quite a while. Right, anyway, that glue's dried, so we can move on. I think we should do the heads first. I think the heads seem to be going to be the unoriginal. I got one. Yeah, it's a classic saw, maybe on the ogre. I just finished my Orc Commandos, but the base conversion was the Beast Snagger Boys, so they look more like rugged survivalists. Yeah, it's a good shout. That one is a good shout. Right, we've got quite a few heads in this kit. So this is a sprue of 10. We've got a lot of. See these kind of little unicorn things. Even these would look really cool. Just stuck is the head. It's just weird stuff like that. It's really good. And there's the little guys that sit on the base as well. Is there any on here? No, there isn't actually. That's weird. I thought there was. There's like the guys with the little legs and stuff. Is there another sprue? Maybe not. Must be just on the characters, I think. Anyway, right. So I've got, how many heads have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 helmeted heads. So I can afford to make one screw up if I want to use all the heads. Yeah, because one of those I'm guessing is going to be like... Oh no, there's 12. Okay, so there's an extra one there. Okay, that's fine. Right. Let's try my first idea. We can always fix it if needs to. This is going to be the prototype anyway. What about Skitarii Vanguard with some modification? I think they look good. They would do, yeah. They might be good for just adding a little bit of variation. I'm trying to keep it, though. So, if we imagine that that's kind of like the head... I think we can pull it off. I think if we do a little bit of sculpting, we might need to fill in a gap on the neck. Actually, if I cut this here, keep the neck joint, just basically cut out the face and combine these. So at the moment it's kind of like that. So if I cut out this middle section and just kind of close it together, that should sit nicely above the collar. And then I can drill a couple of holes, and I can always do a bit of sculpting as well, actually, just make like a bit of a snouty helmet, like a Plague Doctor helmet. I wish I had the finance for this army. It looks so good. Thankfully, I've started to control my weak will and can hold on just about. Yeah, they are some nice miniatures. Quite like the rules for them as well. They're quite nice. Right, so this is going to need... This actually might need the saw blade. I'm going to switch out for this one. It's a little bit too flimsy for what I need. So the good thing about that saw blade is it actually comes with a few options. Hopefully I've got them in here. Yeah, there we go. So we have a larger one. A little bit more beefy one. It's the one I normally use. Sometimes they're a little bit too thin. That's the only thing I would say. And if you're kind of sawing a little bit too vigorously, then they can end up bending, which isn't ideal. But this narrower saw is a little better for obviously narrow situations. But oops, what have I done? What have I done? Where is that even from? Okay. What's going on here? Okay, it's like a little spring. There. I've messed up the little springy thing. I don't know what I've done. Okay, I think that's sorted. Have we fixed it? Yeah, there we go. We did it. Crisis averted, guys. We've got the saw back. I don't think that's supposed to be sticking out, but it is now, so it's just the way it is. We'll get by. I think this could also work for heavy frog helm Britannia models, as the frog helm provides protection but reduces eyesight and more armor to things and legs. They can work as foot knight. Yeah, one of the things I'm really kind of glad about the old world is that the that's right, yeah, is that the old Britannians are coming back, which is great news, because I was one of those people who always really liked the Britannians. It's going to have to be just quite far away from the camera, guys. I'm sorry. I've tried to focus it in. So this is a really nice edge to cut against. So I'm going to try and keep that blade as flush against the lip of the helmet as possible. Oops. Once you get started, it's not too bad. It's kind of... Let's just do a few shallow cuts. Keep my fingers well out of the way. This is very sharp as well, by the way, so yeah. It's jeopardy, real jeopardy. It's not really that much. The trouble is, it keeps moving around. It's like, it's not a completely flat surface. I might just clip it. Let's give up. Let's just give up. Let's clip it away. We'll deal with it later. There we go. Much easier. Forget about the saw. Forget that you saw me using the saw. Forget you saw the saw. You did not see the saw. It was all clippers. Okay. There. Easy. See, I told you guys, just use clippers. Don't bother using a saw or anything like that. Just use clippers straight away. Much easier. There you go. flatten that, and if I, during the 2, we should have kind of like a sort of weird little helmet going on. Can you see that? I don't know how well that sits in the neck. If we pop it there, and then we can, the helmet will have to sit directly on the shoulders. I think that looks okay. I think if we imagine that the eye holes are kind of up here at the top rather than underneath. So if you imagine this is like a full, almost like a what they call like a bucket helm in a way. Yeah, I think that works. Like I said, I'm not going to worry too much about being super neat, which is quite nice actually, because a lot of the time with these kitbashes and conversions, I'm always trying to be as neat as possible to make everything look like it should be together, to make sure things line up properly and gaps are filled and things like that. But with this, you don't really need to worry as much. It's a bit more laissez-faire. Look at that. We're cultured. Using French words on the stream. There was someone who said they were from France, so there we go. Bonjour. So if you tune into the last stream that I did on Twitch, I think I did about, it was a 2-hour stream, and I did about 15 minutes of painting in the whole stream. Part of it saw me looking at biscuits. Part of it saw me looking at a town in Germany called a city. Actually, it wasn't a town; it was a city, Wuppertal, which is known for its suspended railway. I think Tom Scott did a video on it. So yeah, it's just the kind of things you've got to look forward to. Anyone who's new to me live streaming, then that's what we've got to look forward to. Was there anything else? Oh, there's one stream in the past where I couldn't remember. I was trying to remember some sort of alien from some film or TV show that I remembered. I was sure that it was something from Doctor Who, and it ended up being the Vogons from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So yeah, that's the kind of stuff we end up doing. So I'm not going to glue this yet, actually. Before I do that, the neck is okay, but we're going to clean this up very quickly, and then I'm going to drill some holes. And again, I'm not going to worry about being neat or the real tragedy of coming to YouTube is that none of these people will know the majesty of Ball Cthulhu. Wow, you're saying that, but I'm using the same streaming setup as I was before, so we can. I completely forgot about that. How did I forget about this tangent? So welcome to my welcome to the co-host of the channel. We have here. I'm just going to scale him down a little bit just so you can. Let's pop him above me. There we go. So this is. So this stemmed from, I'll explain the story. This is story time now, folks. It's a tangent, but I'm going to be working at the same time, so it's not quite a tangent. Right. So we were talking about Baldur's Gate 3, and I was pretty certain that I'd played one of the old Baldur's Gates. I don't remember playing much of it, but I vaguely remember playing something that I thought was Baldur's Gate. And it turned out it wasn't, because when I had a look at the cover, and it was nothing to do with what I just had this very vivid picture in my mind of a kind of light source in the background and a face in the foreground, and it was kind of like a bald head, and it was lit quite dark, and it was quite like backlit, and this was like the rough color palette. And I was describing it, and no one could figure out what it was. I thought, I'm just going to draw it. So I went on a whiteboard thing on a website and just very quickly drew that. I say that I spent a lot more time than I probably should have done, and someone figured out that it was actually Call of Cthulhu, and that is actually supposed to be an in-person music. Are you ready for a tangent? This is the first proper tangent of it. We're gonna go. Let's have a look. Let's see if we can get this up. It's on the original Xbox. So So you can see just how much of a perfect match that the box was compared to what I did. So let's bring him up again. There we go. Let's pop him over here. So you can just see it's uncanny. I mean, if you were in your local GameStop, or there we go, look at that. If you're in GameStop or Game Station or Game in the UK, or wherever purveyor of games, and you saw this on the shelf, you'd be like, oh yeah, it's Call of Cthulhu, and then you would see this next to it and be like, it's still Call of Cthulhu. They're both the same. Look at that, they're identical. But yeah, I hadn't seen this box in probably about 15 years, and this is just what I never played this game. I never even played Call of Cthulhu, so I don't know why the box just really stood out to me for some reason. I actually had a look at the gameplay to see if I had played it, but I hadn't. So yeah, I don't know where it had come from. So yeah. Liam, hi Pete. Any chance of seeing the martial size comparison with the regular troops? Let's see what we can do. We've got a regular troop here. We're gonna have a flourish, and look at that. The marshal is there. Oh wow, he's really big. I never actually considered. Look how big he is. He's huge. He's like a space marine size. Look at that. That is like, I know he's standing on a rock, but if you kind of stand on the same rock, look at that. You got a missed call from Cthulhu. Have I got a space marine? Just a regular space marine to hand? No. Why have I only got heavy intercessors everywhere? Oh, hang on. No, I do have some. He's not far off the height of a space marine. If you kind of line him up, I don't actually realize how quite realize how big they were. I guess it's like Age of Sigmar, so it's kind of like anything goes, I guess. Not Mark 4, Mark 6. Let's bring your kid to work day. Right, anyway, what we're doing. Tangents. We got on a tangent. We'll keep him there. So basically the reason he came about was, the reason I kept him, you don't know why he came about, but the reason why I stayed on for a few streams is basically because the painting phase guys were also streaming at the same time, and I was quite jealous by the fact that they had like 3 hosts. They had 3 people there who could like bounce off each other. They could chat with each other if one person didn't want to talk and wanted to focus on something. They could do. It was quite good. It was quite a good little dynamic, and it's just me on my own. So I thought, well, I need a co-host. So he came. He doesn't talk, but he's there. He's emotional support. Hi, Chris. How's it going? Just going to flatten this out. It's a little bit crooked, so I wanted to get the best. It's nice and flat, so it can fit against the neck nicely. There we go. So what do we think is going to look more impressive? Do you think having the banding at the front? Actually, there is a slight angle, so it's going to have to be that, I think. Yeah, we're going to have to do that. That was going to be an audience question, but Pete's still not introducing me as a co-host. The only co-hosting you will get to do is if you buy a PC and play Vermintide. That is the only thing you get to do. Tobias Trendle, hello Peter, have you ever tried Warcry? I've painted some of the miniatures, I've kitbashed with some of the miniatures, but I've never actually played the game. I've never even had a demo for it, to be honest. Right, this could go very wrong. So I hope that can hear like a really high pitched sound. Anyway, we're going to put some little eye holes in here. I can't tell if it's outside or if it's inside my office. I'm kind of slowly going mad. The good thing about this as well, stuff doesn't need to look cool. It can just look ridiculous, and it kind of works. He does have a similarity to Peachy, though. I didn't actually kind of realise that what I was doing at the time. It was just like, oh, okay. He does actually have a bald head as well. I think Peachy has a beard now, so yeah, I'd have to give him a beard. Look at that. The eyes are a little bit wonky, a little bit offset, but I think that's fine. We can deal with that. We can work with it. I might actually put... I don't think I could drill small enough holes. I've only got a 1mm drill, but that's the smallest hole that I've got. I'm going to make them a bit deeper just to give them a bit more depth. I've really messed up the angle. It's a good job I'm doing Turnip28, because if this wasn't Turnip28, look at that little frog boy. Look at that. It's just riveting along. There we go. It kind of looks like he's just drilled the holes in himself. It doesn't look like it's been... What I'm going to say is, because the thing about Turnip28 is the people... So the only food source left is the root that's taken hold of the world. And it's kind of... And so it's kind of providing a food source at the same time, which is... But it's also kind of poisoning everyone and causing them to mutate and start to also look like a turnip. So... A lot of people, you don't actually see the faces because they have these like tuberous growths off them. So yeah, maybe it's some tuberous growth that made his eyes a little bit ski whiff, a little bit wonky. There we go. Let's go with it. I think it works. I think it works quite well. I think maybe the next time I'll do a slightly better job of the holes. Yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we come to the next one. We'll yeah. Okay, cool. I'll let that dry for you anymore. Hey Pete, I hope you're doing alright. Just a quick thank you for being a major inspiration and winning the sales to make me brave enough to tackle my mountains of Grayscale Legion. Well, I'm glad you found everything useful. That's the only thing I can really hope to do when it comes to these videos, is just get people doing it themselves. If that's all I ever manage to achieve with this channel, to get people kitbashing stuff themselves, perfect. That's what I need to do. Isn't my kitbashing? Is that the problem? No, the world's lord mutations are the problem. Exactly. That's the improvise, adapt, overcome. The perplexed bucket. There we go. I think that works. If you know anything about Turnip, I think that actually works quite well. I might do a few different variations of the helmet. I'm not just going to stick to this style going ahead. I think it works better if there's a lot of different versions. The perplexed bucket is definitely... I quite like the idea that he's just basically just got a bucket and drilled a couple of holes in him and just stuck it on his head. That's all he's got. Carve him a derpy smile. Maybe I'll paint one on. Oh dear. Right. Anyway. Shield. Okay, we can get creative with the shield, can't we? We can. I think that the swords and the arms are going to be very kind of fairly standard, but the shield we can do a little bit more with. Should we try and sculpt a turnip? Are you going to put tufts on or static grass prior to painting? I am. I'm gonna stick the tufts on there. We're gonna have proper little clumpy tufts of painted stuff growing out of his shoulders. Quite like that look, personally. We also need some textured paint as well. I've got lots of that to hand to use. But I do think we need some turnips. We can't have a Turnip28 miniature without trying to sculpt some turnips. It might go really well. It might go really wrong. We will find out. That's what we're doing. We're going to find out together. So the beauty of doing these live streams, you get to see how the sausage is made. You don't see the nicely edited, the nicely cut up, and everything's all succinct. You see all the mistakes. Right, let's get some arms ready, just so we've got them. D11. Should we go for the mace? Yeah, let's go for the mace. D11, perfect. There it is. And we can pretty much go for any of the weapons, I think. Let's go for this mace. That looks nice and formidable. I'm sure we can probably do something with that one as well. But I'm just going to cut these off for now and leave them to one side. How the dead animal bits are made. Did I lose a stream then? Said it disconnected, but did it hold on? Did it continue? Still working? Okay, cool. Right. Just double checking because I checked the the dashboard and it's literally just kind of like acting as if nothing's going on. So I'm just a bit confused. Oops. Let's close that. Let's close that. Cool. Anyway. Still here. Cool. The co-host restarted it for you. Thank you. Pete the Wargamer, hey, what's the brand of plastic glue you're using? It is Tamiya. So this one is actually... I'll put a lid on. It's Tamiya cement, but it's using the Tamiya extra thin applicator. I'm just getting this... Right, let's get some green stuff. So, a bit of a public service announcement. Don't buy Green Stuff World green stuff. Now there's lots of reasons not to buy from Green Stuff World anyway, but their green stuff is not very good, to put it simply. I don't have any, but I did buy some because I needed some in a pinch, and it was the only stuff that I could get hold of quite easily. And basically what happened was, when I got it, it created like a film, like the top of it and the bottom of it, it kind of cured, even though they weren't like together. So yeah, it was a bit of a bad purchase. So yeah, don't go to Green Stuff World for your green stuff. Get it from pretty much anywhere else. It's not, because I had some before, so I'd bought some in the past, and I've been using it fine. I had it from Fresh, and it was working okay. And then when I came to use it after a while, it had that film. And I thought, oh, maybe I just kind of left the container I'd left it in wasn't airtight. Maybe it had gotten warm or something. I don't know. Maybe I thought it's old. Maybe it's something I've done. Not a problem. Picked some of this stuff up. Had a good time with it. This stuff ran out, and I thought, okay, I'll just grab some green stuff green stuff, because that's just easy enough, available. Grab some, and I used it for about a week or two, I think. I was using it, dipping into it for a couple of weeks, and it started again. I was like, no, this is no good. If you watched my Angron video, close the little lid, I can't open it now. If you watch the Angron video that I did, you will notice on that one, when I'm doing the first foot, when I'm doing the little sculpting around the foot, you'll notice that the first foot looks a lot worse than the second foot, and that's basically because, oops, I've got a bit of plastic in there, make sure that's cut away. Because that was the first batch of bad green stuff that I was using, and it kind of ended up having a weird lumpy texture, basically. Yeah. You end up with hard pieces if you don't cut the hard part off. Yeah, but the trouble is the whole thing was like the whole way along the strip dried, which is weird. Have you used any 3D printed stuffs for kit bashing? I have done in the past. I've not used anything recently, so the biggest reason why I don't isn't because it's kind of like, it's not because I don't agree with 3D printing or anything like that. I'm not worried about that kind of thing. It's more that because, first of all, not everyone has access to 3D printers, so some people need to buy them from third-party manufacturers anyway, so that kind of doesn't make it super easy. But also, a lot of the kit bash components are kind of already pre-made. They don't really need to be explained how to use them, because it's kind of like, oh, okay, well, I took this model, this basic Imperial Guardsman, and I stuck a 3D printed head to him, and I stuck some 3D printed arms to him, and it kind of just ends up being a very, very straightforward guide. There's not much in the way of modifications. It's good if you're using it as part of other stuff, if you're using it as part of a bigger conversion and you need a particular piece. But I think generally speaking, I'd rather just stick to regular components to show people you can modify regular components, just because I think it's generally more helpful to people. Right, so we're going to try, may fail, but we're going to try and make a turnip. So, I've never made a turnip before, but hopefully it's quite easy. I'm going to start off with a small, they're kind of like weird little, they're not like turnips that you'd find in a shop, they're weird little mutated things anyway, so we can kind of go a bit crazy if we need to. So we need to make some first. Should I make them on a flat surface? I'll stick one to the shield first. There we go. Right, let's get the basic shape down. Let's pop one there. Yep, that'll do. Now we should put a picture up of a turnip for reference. I would do, but that's a lot of effort. That is. I'm gonna have to like set up a new image, find a picture of a turnip, save it, reference it. It's not worth it. And everyone get a picture of a turnip so you know what I'm doing. First you plant it. Making turnips 1, you boil some water. Turnip for what? Loving the puns. Loving it. So you can see the rubber tip sculpting tool. Just put a bit of Vaseline on this, and it kind of really helps you to smooth out the surface. I'm just going to really gradually move this down. I'm just kind of using the sharper edge just to kind of help lift the bottom out a little bit, just so it's not completely flush against the surface. Try and stretch that down, give it a bit of a A little bit. It's kind of looking like a little bit of a. Not really turnipy at the moment. It's one of those things that's probably going to be more turnipy on the painting side than it is. There we go. Let's put a little weird bend in it. Round it at the top a little bit more. Maybe make sure that the focus is right for the height that I'm holding the thing up. Probably should stretch just that a little bit more. If I stick a second one on there, we'll do that. Yeah, it's okay. That'll be okay for now. Like I said, it's hard to kind of convey what it is purely from sculpting. I think I can put some lines in it, but I don't know how defined they would be. Oh, okay, that's not too bad. Flattening things out a little bit more than I like, but that's fine. It's just like a slug. It does not look like it. I'm gonna get some visual reference. Let's have a look. Let's get the colour Cthulhu man back. Let's move him over here. We can move it smaller. There we go. Okay. Right. So there's a very particular style. I've never done this. I've never ever sculpted a turnip before. It's one thing I can safely say I've never. I also don't think I've said turnip as much as I have done in the last few minutes. So I know some of the pre-made models have them on, because I was looking at them the other day. There you go. That's what we're trying to do. That kind of style there. How it's like a. There we go. So I probably need to make the bottoms a little bit more spindly. You can cross it off your bucket list. They kind of do like carrots, don't they, I guess? But I think they're supposed to be... They're not supposed to be like really nice, plump, lovely modern day turnips. They're supposed to be these horrible, anemic looking things that you don't really want to eat, but you have to because that's pretty much all there is to eat. In Turnip28, everything is mutant, yeah. Looks like an AI generated carrot. She's Playmobil and Lego carrots though, yeah, it's a good idea. Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like a parsnip, isn't it, really? But yeah. They're all probably the same family, I'm guessing. They're probably all very, very similar. Just like different variations of the same thing. I'm not going on a tangent. I'm not looking at the genealogy of carrots, turnips, and parsnips. Right, I've taken it off. I'm going to thin this out a little bit more. Let's see if this helps. I think that looks better already. If I do say so myself. Yeah, actually going for more of a kind of a There we go. I think that's what we needed. We needed something a little bit more spindly. It was looking a little bit too plump and ripe when it stuck to my fingers. Alright, let's try and get this to stick to the surface. That's a bit better. Happy with that. See, just took a little bit of reference. It's almost like someone suggested me maybe getting something for reference, and I just kind of completely ignored it. Oh no, I find it. Oops. There we go. See the silence as I try to concentrate on this little wispy turnip thing. Just trying to add a little bit more of a kink to that end there, so this kind of tucks in and then this bends back around again. There we go. I think that's looking better than what we had before. If I do say so myself, I might do some very light ridges in it, nothing as severe as before. Okay. I think that looks better. I might try and put a little wispy bit up at the top. If you were painting orangey wing membranes, which contrast would you go for? Commander. I don't know actually. It'd probably be a mixture of things. I can't really. I'll probably start with a yellow, probably one of the brighter yellows, and then kind of use oranges over the top of it just to darken it down. I can't remember which one it is, but it's one of the really bright yellows from the new range, not from the original one. So it's not Nasdrag, and it's like Imperial Fist or something like that, one of those ones. Right, can I use my tiny little delicate? Can we add a stalk to it? I think we can. I think we can, you know. Let's see. I'll get close to really close to it now. Let's see if I can do it. Let's get it zoomed in. There we go. I think that looks more like a weird mutated turnip thing than it did before. A little bit of painting will probably make it look a bit better as well. Kind of looks like a little lamprey or a little leech or something that's attached to the shield, but for the time being, I think it does. Chilly. Although shield's designed so that if they get peckish, a snack is always at hand. Maybe it is. Maybe I think they revere the turnip as well, so it's kind of like maybe some sort of holy ward against people who worship the turnip less than they do. I don't know. I do think it's more fun to watch than listen to someone sculpt with a physical medium. No one breathe. The top leaf helps it read as a veggie. Who unironically uses the word peckish? I do. That is me. I am the one of those people who go to the cupboard and be like, I'm feeling a bit peckish. There we go. I don't think I'll go for 2. I think 1's enough. I think 1 is enough to convey what we're going for. And also, I don't want to mess it up by reattaching it somewhere and destroying it. Look at that. There we go. Look at little... Oh dear. Right, whilst I've still got some green stuff, I'm going to give another helmet a go. A different type of helmet. Let's see if we can resolve what we had before. Let's grab that one. A little bit of variation. I do think the first one looked good. I feel better if my Slug Comet made you sculpt it. Oh no, don't worry about it. It was just kind of one of those things where I wasn't happy with it anyway. The slug stuff probably will work though. I think the slug stuff will work for... I quite like the stretched version. I think it looks a bit more like a weird mutated veggie. Okay, right, so this time I'm just going to pop the shield over here because I might need that. Try to do something a little bit different with this head. So rather than going for the wee little drilled in holes in the bucket, we're going to try and make some sort of beak thing. We shall see. The turnip on their shield is their version of a purity seal. Only the bravest and bestest soldiers get one. There we go. Yeah, look, this is the good thing about that kind of stuff. So we're going to take a length of green stuff and we're going to make it into that kind of rough shape. It might be too big. We shall find out. There we go. Done. Job done. If you actually look at some of the turnip art, it actually looks surprisingly like that. We're trying to make like a dented metal surface though, so what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to smooth it out and add a little bit of angles to it as well. Would you still love me if I was a turnip? If you were a turnip, Yankee, I would let you co-host. Grab that. Normally I would use probably some sort of... I'd attach it to the model, but I just kind of wanted to get in before this putty cured too much, really. To blend it out a little bit more. It's still covering, not quite covering the eyes there, so I need to do a little bit more work time being. So what you can see I'm doing is I'm trying to flatten out kind of certain facets of it, really, just so it doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be a little bit more angular. It's probably going to be easy to do once the putty's cured a little bit more, actually, so I might come back to this. We'll see. I need to cover up that eye as well. There's a schnoz. Let's pop that in there and try and smooth it out a bit. Try and get rough shapes done, and then as it cures, it'll actually be a little bit less bendy, so it'll be easier to work with, and to get these like flat shapes in it. But for the time being, whilst I'm trying to get the position and the rough shape right, it's better to do it whilst the putty's still quite malleable. Basically, that's what we're trying to do. I'm actually gonna, you know what? Let's start that again. It wasn't flat enough against the face. It needed to be wider at the base, I think. That was the problem. Let's try again. Right, that's covering both sides of the face now. So if I worry about doing that first, then this should make this a little easier. A riveting stream is when I just decide to just randomly stop talking. Okay, a little bit less pronounced this time, but I'm going to try and squeeze it out a little bit. Just pinch it up and try and make it a little bit pointier back it was before. There you go. Kind of looks like a fat turnip now, which is good. That's what we want. Okay, I'm a bit happy with that one. It's not quite as long as it was before, but I think the length of the nose is actually making things a lot harder to work with. I think it was being a little bit too flexible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for that to cure. I'm going to add in a few more flat facets as well, and then add some little dots in for the eyes. Not quite the same as it was as the other guys' eye holes, but we're going to add some in there at least. Okay, I'll leave that for the time being. Fat shaming vegetables now, the depths the stream has sunk to. He's sculpting a goblin from memory. This is the same kind of energy that I was doing trying to sculpt that guy. I like is this normal dude who got sculpted while shoving his face into it, like sneezing during a photo. Yeah. So when it's painted, it'll actually be metallic, so it won't look as weird, I guess, because it would be more the surface would be painted like metal and it'll look rusty. So it'll look normal. So we're gonna work on another torso. Alright, we might as well stick this guy's shield on actually, and then we can maybe add a few extra little details whilst I've got sculpting. Let's clean up the tools. What time are we on? 8:15. Wow. How time flies when you're sculpting little turnip men. If I remember rightly, I could be wrong. So anyone who's a little bit more read up on the Turnip28 lore can probably correct me. But it's not actually specified that it is a turnip. It's just that it's a root vegetable. Is that correct? Ben Ives. Almost your bed. Have you had your bath yet, Ben? I know that's what you used to do when we used to have a stream. Just disappear halfway through. Right. That'll do. There's just a page of lore about how the old world is overgrown. Yeah, I actually think I need to change the delay on the chat because I think there's quite a big delay between, more so than one was on Twitch. So I would say something and then it'll take a while for it to propagate. I'll sort that out. I wouldn't disappear. I'll be commenting whilst on the bath. That's good to know. Thank you. Thank you for taking your moderating very seriously. Right, okay. Where are we? Let's grab the focus there. We're going to sit this shield arm on. Might be wiser to put the shield on first, but you know, we're going rogue here. We're going to be mavericks. Try and glue the shield on without squashing the turnip. Parsnip thing, root vegetable. Can we manage it? Can we do it? There we go. Look at that, his eyes poke up just over the shield. That is like perfect. It's the perfect defense. Anything, like if we go side on like this, right? Anything in that area is not going to get through. You can get his legs, ignore his legs, but look at that. He's just a tank of a man. He's got his turnip on the shield. He's got his little weird homemade bucket helmet. There we go. Right, I'm going to put him to one side. I'll stick him on a base, actually. I think these are 25mm? 25mm base? Yeah, perfect. Right. Stick him to his base, and then he's not going to go anywhere then. Accidentally crush his little sculpted bits. Also makes it a lot easier to hold. Okay, there we go. First guy. A little bit more work we can probably do, but I'm not going to worry. Probably stick something over there. I think there's some pouches and stuff. I'm going to do the whole thing with the tufts of grass as well, just on the shoulders, because I think that really helps to sell that turnip look and effect. Once everything's dried, I might go back and just add a few more holes in the shoulders as well. Thinking about it, maybe put a little bit of damage into the shoulder pad. But yeah, quite happy with that. Might do a couple more helmets like that. Might do a couple more helmets like that guy's there. So I'll quickly show you what I mean. I need a needle. Okay, so with this, the intention was to kind of go. So that kind of deal. Again, the eyes are a little bit off, but that's fine. I'm not really worried too much. Add a couple more around here as well. Yeah, I think I'm just going to leave that to cure and then come back to it and do a little bit of sharpening up of those edges. Where have we got that? That's my drink. The oral mutants, the eyes can be wherever. That's what the thing is. The good thing, you can't see the faces, so you don't know what they look like. Their eyes could be up here, their eyes could be down here, anywhere. It doesn't matter. What if one of the soldiers had a backwards helmet? Yeah, it's perfect. It's a good idea, yeah. Always odd number of holes. How many holes have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're on an odd number of holes. Perfect. Gotta have a guy with a frog mouth helm. Yeah. I don't know how I can do that though. That's the only thing. How could I do it? Sculpting a frog helm on stream would be riveting content. Lovely. Good work. Any new Turnips getting worked on or Gargants coming soon? There is a Turnip video coming soon. It's already available if you are a Patreon supporter or channel member. It's live. I've made a custom Lictor variant. So yeah, that's coming next Sunday. A week. Yeah, just under a week. Next Sunday it's going to arrive on the channel. It's first proper custom Turnip that I've ever done. I did the plastic Biovore, but that wasn't really like a custom model. It was just making a plastic version of a model that already existed. Plus it's obsolete now because the new one's there. But yeah. Oh, there he is. I'm quite happy with him. Quite pleased with that. I might do the body for this model, and then that will clear up space to do another head. 85, 86, 87. 85, 86, 87. That's 87. Now this is riveting content. Watching a guy try to find numbers on a sprue. 87. And then forget which numbers he's already written out. 86 is what we need. There we go. Got it. Done. Quick mold line removal. We're going to do 10 of these. Definitely not doing 10 on this stream. The good thing about these though, you can spend a little bit more time building them because the painting is just so straightforward. It's pretty much just paint them brown and make them rusty and make them a bit gritty and textured, and then that's it then. You can just go streaking grime everywhere. Job done. Spend more time on the actual conversion work than you do on the painting side, which is good news for me. I'm always a fan of cutting down the painting as much as I can, really. Putting more effort into the conversion. Right. A little bit more there. Of course they put a mold line right on the pouch. Oh dear, right. I hate mold lines. They're so annoying. Honestly, if I could... If there was some sort of machine that could just remove mold lines from a model, it'd be the best thing ever, because just the amount of time that I spend cleaning up components, because as well, because stuff's on a camera, I think mold lines are more obvious when they're on a camera than they are in person, so I have to really go and pay extra care to make sure that things don't have mold lines, because they become super obvious when you're painting them. Manzak Miniatures, welcome to the stream. Didn't you pick a Vulcan for Games Workshop? Was that ever recorded and uploaded? No, I did a Lorgar. That was recorded. I painted the whole thing. I recorded the whole thing, and I never actually edited the video. I never put it out. Never did anything with it. I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't do it. I think it was just one of those things where I just got all the projects, and even though I spent ages painting it, and I think because it wasn't a conversion, it was just look, that's Guns are working out, Pete. No, not at all. Not at all. Right, let's did I do everything? Yeah, right, okay, so a little bit of damage into these as well. Pinball. How are the new steel helms? Are the mold lines minimal? They're not too bad. They're not. They're kind of, if you can see them. You can see them there. That's not too bad. A little bit along that foot there. They've kind of done a pretty good job. So there's a mold line just along that edge there, but the mold line here is not really noticeable because it's the part where the torso joins. These are obviously solid pieces, so these are quite nice. The edges are quite free of mold lines, really surprisingly. I'm guessing it's because they've lined up the edges of the mold to match up with the actual edges of the shield, so it's not as noticeable. Yeah, pretty good actually. The helmet's pretty good. Again, I think they've lined up this band. There's a little bit there. as... Oh, I keep losing my components. What was I doing now? Oh, no, I was drilling holes. That was it. Don't need the sprue. Right. A couple more of these holes. Let's go a little bit deeper this time with these. Let's make them... just on the one side, though. Actually, they won't be visible on this side, so I don't know why. I'm probably not really much point doing that. And what I might do is, if you look at this little edge here, it kind of overhangs. You can see how it overhangs the cloth. If I had a little bit of a nick in there, it would look like the arm's a little bit damaged as well. Nothing too deep, just a little bit, just to make it look a little bit less pristine, a little bit more. Perfect. Doug Pridgeon. Hello, welcome. Right, let's do this glute. Knees, yeah, I'll do a little bit on the knees as well. That'll do. I feel like that'll do as the catchphrase for this stream. It's quite liberating to do something which is a little bit more forgiving in terms of getting things spot on and perfectly correct. Kabuski! Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining me over on the old YouTube. Yes, I will be putting tufts on these guys. I quite like that effect. I know some people, it's a little bit of a strange thing to put a tuft on a model, and then especially to put a tuft on a model before you paint it. But I think it just really sells that swampy nature, and it's the texture, isn't it? It's all about adding that extra texture to the model. I think I'll also go over some bits as areas and put some, what's it called? Texture paste as well. Dextranville, hello, welcome. It's going well, thank you. How about you? Oh, also, what did everyone think of the reveals on Thursday? Last stream we did was Wednesday, so it's just before the stream that the reveals happened, a couple of days before. Yeah, it was good. It's kind of a few things I expected. Expected the Space Marines, I expected Assault Marines, basically because the old firstborn Assault Marines had gone. The Scouts as well, they've been teased for a while, so they made sense, and obviously the Scouts got taken off the web store. The Heresy stuff, I was hoping we get a little bit more of the Heresy stuff revealed, but it's pretty cool seeing the new Mark III stuff. Yeah. Excited for the Oryx. Yeah. The new Ard Boys are really nice. They're kind of like, they fit much more. They blend much better with the other Iron Jaws range, because the old Ard Boys were just kind of a hangover from the old world, weren't they? And they looked good, but they were very different. They stood out, but I think the new ones look good. They look like mini brutes now. Does the Cataphractii kit come with extra shoulder pads for them? Cataphractii, it doesn't actually. No, it just comes with the regular shoulder pads, isn't it? Loved it, but I'm still waiting on the separate Brutalis Dreadnought release. I imagine that when this wave of, however they decide to release them, but when the wave of Space Marine stuff comes out, I reckon it'll include a Brutalis and is it Devastation Squad? Yeah, it's Devastation. The guys with the rocket launchers, the Venga launcher guys. I imagine they'll be with them, to be honest. I think that's why we haven't seen the release yet. They're still waiting. Yeah, let's glue that on. Screw that on now. Then it frees up my bit of kind of means I also have the bottom level now. So once this is in place, I can hold that model and not have to worry. Okay, let's do another helmet. Wolfez, yo, I'm back. Has he finished the first mini? I have. There we go. Look, he's there. Little bucket man. A couple little bits of tweaks to make to the shoulder and things like that. And I need to add the tufts. I might just do the tufts now. It's past up time. Cities of Sigmar is actually the best release of Games Workshop because there are numerous potential conversions. Want to build no corrupted city as well as Lethus Mortar with free will undead. Yeah, that look cool. Next, do the next helm as a sack of spuds. Just a sack. Could just do a sack. Yeah, that's the thing. It could just literally be anything. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I don't know if these tufts are going to be big. Yeah, these are fine. Yeah, I'm not. I really do think the Cities stuff's really good. It's good that Age of Sigmar have their own humans now, and I do feel like it's interesting to see how more and more of the Age of Sigmar kits are moving away from the specific. What's it called? They're kind of moving more for the specific differentiation. So a lot of the Age of Sigmar stuff is kind of getting phased out, and they're releasing a lot of the old Hammer stuff in Age of Sigmar is getting phased out, and they're releasing more Age of Sigmar specific versions of older models. I'm guessing it's just going to help to create some differentiation between the two worlds when they get their own releases and things like that. Fingers crossed we get a updated version of the Steam Tank. That'd be nice. Right, so this is another fact. This is something else which is quite common with Turnip28 stuff, is where basically tufts and stuff will get added to the model before they paint, and it kind of adds like a nice little dynamic to the model, almost as if they've got little bits of swampy ground growing out of them. And it's done before you paint them, so that when you paint them you get like a weird kind of texture, like this kind of clumpy texture. So I'm going to try and get something underneath there. I'm going to super glue it on, but I'm just making sure that I'm getting happy with the position. So it kind of gives it a... And just the tuft makes it look so much different than a Games Workshop miniature. Beat my hobby burnout grew. I have zero interest in Necromunda anymore. Well, that's good. That's good. I hope you don't keep pestering me for Necromunda content now. No, I think it's one of those things where sometimes you just need to take a break and go do something else for a bit and then come back to it. Yeah, I might just glue that in place now. I'm quite happy with a little bucket man. The only thing is the nozzle on my super glue is completely clogged, and it's actually glued the lid to it, so I can't actually take the lid off anymore, so I have to unscrew the lid, like the actual nozzle, off of it, and then it's so dumb, and then get a little cocktail stick. What's the thing on the shield? That is a turnip. It's a very elongated turnip. So look at this. I'm having to dip in a cocktail stick into my super glue. Only the top quality products on this channel. Let's poke that down a little bit, just to make sure it's getting some good purchase. There we go. That's it, it's committed now. I've committed to the tufts. No going back. Right, so whilst I've got him to hand, and whilst I'm thinking about it, the Ard Boys reminded me of the Defender Orcs and Shadow of War. Yeah, that's actually a good point. The battered armor is very, very... does remind me of those games. Very, very similar indeed. I warned you about the nozzle ages ago. I always have problems with my super glue. I don't know what it is. Is that a carrot on the shield? It is a elongated turnip / generic root vegetable. You'll see it when it's painted. I'll paint it more like a turnip. I'll have it like white with like a purpley bit at the top. Right, I need my crap brush. My crap brush, everyone. There you go. Look, crap brush. That's what that says. And then I've got a little bit of texture paint here. Just it doesn't really matter what colour. I'm just going for concrete because it's fairly similar to the. Actually, is this one a grey, which is better? No, it's like a blue. What I'm going to do is I was going to do a bit of corrosion, but I might actually add a little bit of this to be like a soil. Should I do this later or should I do this now? What I'll do is I'll put soil on later, and then I'll paint some like little corroded little bits on the model with this, and then it's all about the texture with this. Don't want to go over the top with this texture stuff, but it does add a little bit of... helps to differentiate it from the base model, basically, which is what the effect I'm trying to achieve. Yeah, so what I'll do is when this is all dried and cured and everything, once everything's painted, I'll get a little bit of the soil stuff that I would put on the base, like the muddy ground stuff, and just put a little bit across the shoulders as well. And that'll help to give the impression that it's kind of almost like soil is forming on the model itself. Like on there. There we go. He's done. 1 down. 9 to go for this squad. Do you think you'll ever see my take on a current age Perturabo? I don't know, maybe. I've had a few ideas as to what I could do with him. He's kind of like hinted at being this demon engine thing, isn't it? That's... yeah. Maybe. We'll see. Never say never. I think the Tufts on models can be pretty cool, but it needs to be used well. Yeah, I think so. I think it's it works particularly well for this kind of style of model building. I think it doesn't necessarily always work, but I think for this it works. I definitely think that going without the face here makes the model look a lot more intimidating. It kind of separates it out a bit more from what you would expect to see. It looks weird, but I quite like it. I love the little bucket head, man. And we've got this thing as well, which is... just waiting for that to cure a little bit more, and we can do some stronger edges. Might as well do another helmet. What should we do? What kind of helmet have we got? What ideas have we all got? Do wonder if we ever see Perty and Lorgar ascended or in 40k again. I reckon so. They seem to be doing the whole kind of redoing the traitor Primarchs, don't they? It's like ascended version, so I wouldn't be surprised. The thing that's confusing me really is that we've seen Forge World do a resin Fulgrim, which is odd really, because I would have thought that when I first saw it I was like, oh, that's like a plastic mini, but then it was like, oh no, it's not, it's completely resin, so it's like, well, wow, this is really strange, really strange. Give him a boot for a head. Turn the helmet upside down as a bowl and put a giant turnip in it. Nice. Looking at him, thinking of getting bear skin helmets and then sculpting those turnip snouts on them. Yeah, that's good. First guy looks kind of silly. Yep, that's the point. Lorgar's rules for ascended model. Okay, so probably we'll get the model. I'm trying to convert a Death God Land Raider with the horns from Glotkin pushing through the hull. I don't know if I should heat plastic and push it through, cut it up. No, cut it up. Don't bother heating it. It doesn't work unless you're very specific about what you're heating. It doesn't work as well as you think. It kind of stretches and it shrinks and it can mess things up. Cut it up, drill a hole, do some sculpting. Easiest thing to do. Other two options. It's a difficult task, but definitely the easiest thing to do. Squiggle Eyes have great helmets. Yeah, I do actually have a box of them. I was trying to do as little outside models as possible, really, but if we have to, with the exception of Citadel Skulls, I think that's kind of the one exception that I'm going to allow myself. Quite like the upside down one though. That's quite a cool idea. If we did an upside down one, you could actually kind of, so in the background, as I've kind of touched on, there is a little bit of an actually I really like this little unicorn thing. That's pretty cool. Why do I like that? Let me find it. Let me point it out. There we go. It's a banner topper, but I quite like it. I think it looks quite nice. Cooking pot kettle for the helmet. Yeah, that's doable. That's definitely doable for one of them. Just trying to think how I do it easily. What have I got to use? Is there a bear banner top? There is a griffin one. There. And then there's a unicorn one. And that is it. That is all of them. So if I can use as much of this kit as possible, how many shields do we get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plus 1. So we get an extra shield and we get the bigger one for the unit leader as well. I'm trying to think what we could use here. There's quite a few little options on the kit in terms of like this banner pole thing. I mean, that's definitely gonna be a turnip in there. We're not gonna have a broken sword, it's gonna be a turnip. The heads work well though. Should we have a look at, let's have a look at some Turnip28 stuff for inspiration. Let's get a little bit of some ideas here, because it's one of those things, those points in a build where I'm like, I've got a lot of options. I just need to. Let's have a look at the artwork. Is this a big... There we go. This is a kind of... This is what we're talking about with Turnip28, this kind of style. Lots of these different helmets. You can see they've got the really pointy beaks. There's even like Napoleonic hats. What are they? Shakos, I think they're called. Those kind of hats are. And obviously these ones as well. But are they called bicorn hats? I don't know. This one's quite a cool picture. Yeah, some artwork here. Right, what have we got here that we can use? Slugs. Oh, I quite like these little like basket head things. I've seen this motif quite a lot, where it's like a flattened. It reminds me of. Oh dear. I'm not sure. It shouldn't. It shouldn't be a problem. I'm just gonna double check. I'm just gonna check. It's the witches from the Witcher 3, the Swamp Witches. I think we're okay. I was just unsure as to what would come up on the. There we go. The crones. That's it. This one in particular is kind of like basket, like woven basket kind of face. Is pretty cool. Medieval beekeeper, that's it. I knew what it was. I couldn't really. I'm sure it's got like a particular name, but yeah, medieval beekeepers. That was it. Yeah, quite like that. Have we got any more artwork? Yeah, again, same kind of helmets, really. Nothing too new there. Look at this. It's it's a horse made out of turnips. Yeah. There's loads of art. There's loads of stuff to use as reference. It's kind of like it's ridiculous the amount of stuff that's been used. People have done Warhammer, this kind of fungus growth stuff as well. Pretty cool. Horse with a big mushroom head, because why not? Yeah, someone's used the goblin heads. I could just use those, to be honest. I think that's probably like a really easy, straightforward look. I don't know if there are any flails, but a turnip at the end of a flail would be sick. Actually, you know what? You've come up on a good idea, because actually a flail head would look pretty good, I think. Like the spiked ball of a flail head. There isn't any, but I do think I might have some flagellants somewhere that I can use. Let me go and try and dig out some flagellants. I think I've got one. Bear with me. Found him. That was a lot quicker than I thought. I thought I was going to have to just keep jumping back onto these streams and be like, oh, guys, can't find them, but bear with me. Yeah, these are pretty good actually for turnip stuff. Look at that, it's like a bell. What have we got? So yeah, I quite like the idea of the flail head, and there is a couple of different flails in here. I reckon that probably would be a bit too small, wouldn't it, actually? Good old flagellant kit, the essential kitbashing kit. Definitely. It is such a good kit for kitbashing. Should be anyone who wants to kitbash any humans needs to have one in their repertoire, because it's just such a good source. There's like, the heads are good, the weapons are good, the little extra components, and chains and books and all sorts of stuff is really, really useful. Right, so let's build another torso. Because I need to see what will fit against it. D28, D29, D30. 28, 29, 30. So I can remember those. $28. 30. Look at that, we're on a roll. Can we keep going? Ooh, 29. So it's a leg. There, perfect. Magic. Would it work for 40k cultists? It would work very well for 40k cultists. I'm guessing you're talking about the flagellant kit still. Okay, let me just make this over because I can see. Nurgling made out of a turnip. Oh, that's a good idea actually, yeah. It could work. A little mascot. You'd have to probably get rid of the face, I reckon, and kind of just make the head just a turnip. Because you'd need to make it... You'd want to make it avoid the first impression of it being a turnip. And it'd be... a nurgling, sorry. You want it to be like, okay, what's that? Oh, it's some sort of turnip creature that's been built from a nurgling. I think this is the most productive I've been on a stream in a long time. This is like incredibly productive for me. Normally my productivity on these streams is pretty low because I get distracted and start working on something else instead, which is it's always fun. Okay, let's glue these together. How do these fit now? Check that before I glue anything. Okay, makes sense. Stick the torso on there as well. And I forgot to drill the holes, so I'm going to have to do that in a second. I wonder if that green stuff is cured enough yet. I might be able to go back and prod it around a bit more. Let's see. What kind of consistency we're working with. Getting there. Not quite yet though. Not quite as firm as it needs to be just yet. Just going to keep getting incredibly quiet as I'm trying to concentrate on things. This is why it's good to have co-hosts. This is why I need to come up with some sort of rambling catchphrases that the Cthulhu man can just come out with every few seconds just to break up the silence if I'm being quiet, just to detect if there's not any input on the microphone and just say something profound. Okay, I'll do for now. Right, so this model needs a base, and then we can figure out how we're going to do the... We're going to do the head. Play Doctor or Spy versus Spy. Host a call on Discord. Patreon only. Am I just ignoring you? Sorry. Sorry, I'm just kind of like, I'm so just focused on getting this head. My brain's just in one of those weird, it just needs to get this problem sorted. You have employee heat to speed up with green stuff curing. I haven't really, no. I tried. I have kind of, I know that you can use, if you can put your green stuff in the freezer, it can keep it workable for longer if you've made too much, stuff like that. But no, I've not used heat. Maybe I should give it a go. Just downloaded the Turnip28 rulebook, and I can't believe I've read it. Oh, not read it before now. Okay, that's cool. Yeah. Would be cool to see a Cthulhu-inspired Tzeentch demon. Yeah, there's definitely. I mean, I suppose the soul grinder thing that I did was thereabouts, wasn't it? It was kind of the closest to that kind of Cthulhu-esque. Let's clip one of these heads away, just see what we're working with, and see if we can figure out something to do. You can just keep it really simple, really, and just do the... So if I cut that away, I probably need to fill the gap in. But I think that works. Actually, the Darren Weep8 Mini's suggestion actually works quite well. I'd have to fill in the gap because obviously that would fit too low, but it kind of offers a different perspective on the helmet, and then I could just have a big turnip coming out the back. Articus Bardane. Who's Articus Bardane? Is that a character? There's so many characters, so many people. Let's have a quick look. Chapter Master of the Relictors. Okay. I'll keep it in mind. Someone's in like a picture of him, I think, for something else. Put a grass tuft in the neck joint. Oh, you could do, yeah. Yeah. I'm curious about the view you have while streaming and hobbying. When you say viewed, what do you mean? Views as in when I'm talking, or the actual physical view of what I can see from here? Because there's a camera there somewhere, and your hands and the mic, and it ain't too many. So there's a camera. If I point, so there's a camera like there. If I go on face, it's just off. The camera's here. Just off the screen at the moment. Microphone here, there's a lamp here, and then obviously camera there, and then there is, you can see here. So if I'm trying to demonstrate how you could potentially see this, if I move my hand here, you can just start to see it coming into frame in a second. There we go. There. All you get is the fact that it uses Demon Flare open canvas, which is good and bad. Yeah, those kind of builds and stuff like that are always that kind of... It was a little bit like when you're making your own factions and stuff like that, because you can use stuff that's... If something is established, you've got a really good framework, and the task is then thinking out how you get physical parts to represent those things. But then, so you're constrained in that regard. People expect something, so you've got to match it. But if you do a completely random thing that's got no backlog, it's completely custom, it can be really difficult just to get those, just get focused on stuff, because there's so much stuff you could do, and you kind of think, it's got to come back, it's got to make sense as to why it's happening, and you kind of got to build the backstory up yourself. But yeah, I quite like the upside down. It looks good upside down. I'm actually tempted, to try and do. Should we try and do a bear skin, actually? If I put a little bit underneath there and do a bear skin, I think we can do that. I think that might work. Let's clip away the head. Like that. And let's flatten this out. And then I'm going to clip away that little bit of a spike as well, because that's just going to get in the way. And then we can glue that in place. Turnip skin helmet. Yeah. What I need to do first, though, is I need to have some sort of vision slot, whatever you want to call it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this instead, rather than using the last method, because it didn't work too well. I'm just going to add a little flat visor. This is another underrated tool. A cheap toothbrush, because when you've done something like this, you want to be able to brush away the cuttings so you can see what you've done. Yeah, just a little bit of a little visor there. Makes it much easier than drilling holes. Everything's nicely lined up for once. Moral of the story is, don't try and drill holes that are level with each other whilst you're streaming at the same time. It doesn't work. Oh, actually, it's kind of fitted into the neck a little bit better now. That's good. Hopefully the glue holds. Right, we need something. I'm kind of like the idea of doing a bear skin, but I don't know if I am able to do that. I've not tried it before, and I've lost where I've put my... I put the green stuff down to be safe. And I don't know where I've put it. Oh, it's there, okay. It was that safe. It was on the floor. Did you have any plans to do a Total War Cathay Mini? I did think about doing it. The problem is, I'm going to do a turnip, by the way, rather than a bear skin, because I just think it's funny just having a big turnip on his head like it's a plate. If you're in a pinch, you can also look after your dental hygiene. Yeah, you can. Yeah, I was going to do something with Cathay for the new Cities of Sigmar. I kind of played around with a few ideas. There was a little bit more. So there's one head. If you look at the new character, it's been released as part of the DLC for Total War. There's a new Cathay character in there, and there's a... Actually, I should have been looking at these. There's some really nice helmets in here. Look at those. Those are really cool helmets. This is the Cavaliers. This particular helmet here, I think, looks quite similar, with a little modification. Looks quite similar to the one that the One Bow guy has, the new character from Cathay. No idea if that's the right way of pronouncing it, but it is now. We're going to do like an actual proper squat. Typical turnip here. Could look terrible. It could look great. We don't know. I'm not sure. Not sure. I think it's a good idea, but I'm not confident enough in my abilities. I think there's definitely something we can do up here, but I'm just not sure what. Is this going to be summarized in a YouTube video? It might do, yeah. So what I might do is, I mean, this will be live anyway, but obviously the waffling isn't conducive to learning something. But yeah, if I get these guys done as like a squad, I might do like a little mini concise video, I guess, just to explain the process a little more. Yeah, this is quite difficult. I quite like the. Don't know if the bear skin's going to work either. Really stumped now. I think this is the trouble with me doing this kind of kit bashing, because it's very much like do what you want, do whatever you kind of fancy doing. So I've almost got too much freedom. So I'm thinking, oh, I could do this instead, I could do this something instead. Just do tufts on the top like a planter, mixing some. That's a good idea. Yeah, let's have a look at that. Let's grab a tuft. Yeah, I quite like that. I think that works well. Let's go for it. Let's just do it. Let's go for it. Okay. Let's glue that on. Oops. Oh no. Super glue is too powerful. Right, okay. I've actually broken the head off by super gluing it. I need a bit more glue, I think. That was the problem there. Oops. It was close. Squashing the hair down as I'm trying to fix the head. Alright, there we go. So stupid. Will a worm look out the grass? It's I don't know how easy it's going to be able. I might be able to make something to put in there, but it's just such a strange It's such a strange concept. I think once the arms are in place and everything like that, and I think once there's a few of them, it'll look a bit more. I think I'll just repeat a few of the helmet designs though. Like I'll maybe do another one of these, and I'll do definitely going to do another one of those because that's the best helmet ever. That's the best one, in my opinion. Such a dumb design. Any little birds stick in that nest? Possibly. There might be one I can dig out from somewhere. It's a good idea, actually. Right, we're getting a little bit more solid. It's starting to cure a bit more now, so it's not as elastic as it was. So we'll get a few more of these hard edges. I'm not going to worry too much though, because it looks very organic at the moment, but I think once it's been painted, it'll kind of blend in with the rest of the armor. We'll leave it as is. The beaky one looks like Krieg. It does. It kind of looks like it's wearing a gas mask, doesn't it? I might lift up that up a little bit just so it's a bit more. Yeah, I think it looks a bit more like a helmet now it's been lifted up, as opposed to just like a random gas mask helmet. Crow from Bretonian Kids. I don't know how many Bretonians I actually have none, but it's a good idea. Oh, it's got birds in it. I don't think these got birds in it. Why do I feel like one of them has got a bird? Oh, one of them does have a bird, actually. Look. Cool. Probably a bit too big. The bird's like bigger than his head. Curse City, Celestine. Let's have a look. This isn't a tangent, by the way. This is genuine research. It's going to be an Age of Sigmar, isn't it? It's not going to be anything. Corvus Cabal. I think I've got some. I need little ones. There's a kit that's got a little raven in it. I can't remember what it is. These have got these ones. These are too big. There's a kit that's got like a really small little bird in it. Direwolves have birds on their backs. They do, don't they? Soulblight Gravelords. It might. It's not zombies, is it? Zombies got any? No. Yeah, that one. Is it a little add-on or is it part of the torso? I think I've got some to hand as well, actually. Oh yeah, it's there. Okay. So it's part of the torso. Chaos Knights have some of the crows. Okay. I do have some. Putting a queen in the nest. Yeah. Rockgut Troggoths have a baby bird in the nest. They actually have some Rockgut Troggoths. Let's have a look at them. Oh yeah, yeah, I can see it. Is there a zoomed in picture? Yeah, quite a little nest idea would have been good actually to put it. It's a nice little lineup actually with the worm that's poking out and it's getting ready to eat. That's funny. It's a cool little. Okay, what I might do is I think I'll quite like the bird from the. I quite like the idea of a bird just stuck on there. It kind of fits in that weird theme. I won't get it just yet though. I'll just go work on some of the stuff. But that's a good idea. That's why I'll go with that one. I'll come back to that one. When do Cities of Sigmar release individually? I don't know. Your guess is going to be as good as mine. I assume that it's going to be. It's usually around about a month after their release, at least. At least a month. So what's that now? So it was released. When was it released? Yesterday? Was it released? When was it released? Yesterday, yeah. Individual releases are usually 3 months. Really? Is it that long? Some of the Sylvaneth kits are tiny insects. Yeah, they do. I've got a lot of Sylvaneth kits. Not on me though, they're in the garage. Sylvaneth. This has got an owl in it actually, hasn't it? It's got a little owl in there. If I'm not mistaken, one of these kits have. A little imp. That's pretty cool. Oh, there you go. Yeah. I thought it did. I'm not going to sculpt a bird. Oh dear. Yeah. Right. Okay, let's carry on. Let's do... I think the heads are going to be the biggest point of modification. So I think we're maybe just going to focus on some heads going forward. We're going to stick some... What time have we got? Well, 9:30. Nearly. Yeah, I think... okay. Right, let's go and... Where's that sprue? This one I was using? No, that's the new one. I've literally lost the sprue now. How do you lose an entire sprue? How does that even work? I've lost the sprue. I've lost an entire sprue. I've got the other sprue that I have, and this is dropped. No. I've lost an entire sprue. How does that even happen? How do you just lose a whole sprue? I've really confused myself now. I feel like I'm going mad. This is the... Oh, wait, no, this is the sprue. It's this time. What is going on? This is... I'm sure I just looked at the sprue, and it wasn't the one that I needed, because it... What is going on? That's really confused me. Okay, I don't know what was going on then. My brain was just not working at all. Anyway. I've lost the instructions there. God. Got him. It's good. It's all good. Jesus. Don't ever accuse me of not being a professional streamer. Jesus. D2, D1. That's what we need. D2, D1. Where's D1? D1. There, got it. And the third is D3. That's a front torso piece. There, got it. Perfect. Honestly. Right, I need to think of another head design now. I can just go for what I've done already. I don't need to go crazy every single time. It's one of those things where I don't want to go too crazy, really. I don't want to do... No, that's it. That's the one. Perfect. I want this to be an achievable conversion, which is why I'm trying not to use too many components from other kits, because the more that I use from other kits, then obviously it becomes less doable with just basic materials. So, yeah. It's finding that balance, really. I really want to do another bucket helmet, though. And see if I can get the eyes lined up properly this time. Maybe sculpt a massive growths and tumours growing from the facial area. That's a good idea. I think I might do that for the... So these guys have like a priest with them. So they have a normal unit leader, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, there you go. That guy there. You see him? Let's just get a better shot of him, actually. So you have the unit leader as normal. I can zoom in. There. Unit leader, standard bearer, and then you have the kind of battle priest guy who's not wearing as much armor. So I think you could probably get away with something like that. And he's got this relic that he's carrying around. I reckon you probably do something along that line, I reckon. Any left-hand options other than shields? No, there are only shields. The only left-hand options that aren't shields are the musician / standard bearer, who I didn't actually realise is the same model. That's interesting. But yeah, everything else has pretty much got everything else has got a left hand that's got a shield. There's not much in the way of extra options, I'm afraid. cleaned. Yeah, let's do a little bit of battle damage on this as well before we forget. Soften it out a bit more, it also doesn't look too defined. Clean it off with the brush. Looks a bit better. Right, so I've still got a little bit of green stuff actually. I want to use it, but I don't know what on. That's the thing. Let's assemble this guy and probably do another bucket helm. I'm going to try and get the eyes lined up a bit better this time though. I don't know how well that will go, but we'll try it. We'll see. I would put autofocus on, but it has a tendency of not focusing on the thing I actually want it to and focusing on everything else around it. So it's just easy just to manually focus things. Perfectly aligned eyes don't scream Turnip28 to me. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I kind of just need to embrace the unaligned eyes, I guess. Bucket helm will make that standard pole into a mop. Yeah. Right, so we've got another torso anyway. We've got another torso we can play around with the head. So what do we have? I've got fledglings nearby. I still quite like the idea of doing something with this. I don't know what though. And then we've got the standard heads, so we can always do the bucket helm. Thanks to Toothbrush Trip. You're very welcome. Toothbrush is incredibly useful for lots of different things when you're doing miniatures, cleaning off dust before you paint, things like that. Yeah. Are these for a game or just the pleasure of a conversion? So it's kind of, so Turnip28 is its own game. It's its own kind of miniatures agnostic game, so you can use anything you want. But I'm just using it as an inspiration point to build some interesting Cities of Sigmar stuff. So it's kind of like a combination between the two, the mesh, synergize. Oops. I'm tempted to give that another go, you know, because I don't think I did a great job at it. There is a, let me try to see if I can find it. There was a early Turnip28 book that was released, the rule book, that had like a few tips on sculpting. So let's follow those. So I'm actually a member of the Patreon, so I do have access to the rules, but is it the... What was it now? It was like the introduction. It was in a magazine. I was on the website, Turnip28, let's find it. I think this is it. if anyone can find the link to something that I'm looking for, I'm really struggling. I literally had it open a couple of days ago, and I can't remember where it is now. What's the magazine called again? Thanks, Wolf Smasher. If you, I'm not sure if you'll be able to post, but if you, I can't remember if links are enabled. But if you just put the name in, I can always find it. Was it 28? Oh, Swollen Maglet. Is that the one? Oh yeah, this is it. This is what I found. Okay, let me sort this out so let's see. Okay. Just getting the ideas for... There we go. It's basically kind of what I've done. Very, very similar. So yeah, this is Turnip28. This is like quite a nice little introduction to the background and the world, things like that. Lots of artwork, some pictures of the miniatures when they're done. I like that. That's cool with the candles on the top. Is there an inspiration here? I think I'm just being too picky about stuff. I just don't know. I think I'm just being a little bit too like. Oh, I want to make sure it's right. I want to make sure it's right. Right. Okay. Here we go. So he took a helmet, put a blob on it, stretched it out, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, just I think I'm just being too... Yeah. Yeah, I think I just need to get over myself. But to put it bluntly, I just need to kind of do something and not worry too much about how it looks. I think I'm just getting too in the weeds about everything looking just right, and it doesn't have to be. It's the point. I think as well, some of the details that I'm going to be worrying about putting in are just going to be really obscured when the painting comes, so I think spending too much time on them isn't constructive. Okay. Just gotta let loose. Yeah, that's it. Really difficult. For someone who's a kit basher, for someone who does like to experiment with different kits and modify them and not follow the rules, I'm actually really struggling with this because this is like really far out. I'm usually basing it on some sort of world, I guess. I don't know. It's weird. It's a hard thing to explain, but yeah. Right, I'm going to do some green stuff again. I've got a little bit mixed up, so why not? Let's go for it. Let's stick this guy's head on, and then we can have a go at doing another mask as well. Just not worrying too much about it. I reckon if I just do something a bit more simple. I love your kit bashes. Out of curiosity, oh, thank you very much, first of all. Out of curiosity, would you be interested in doing Chaos Cities of Sigmar conversion 40k using the Chaos Cultist kits? To be honest, I reckon you could do... Yeah, you could probably mix and match a few of those Chaos Cultist components with some of these components, actually. Yeah, I reckon you could probably easily do something. Right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just take a little bit of green stuff and I'm just going to stick it underneath there for now. And then I'm going to flatten it out. Wolf Smasher. These, to be fair, these GW sculpts are much more detailed than the Perry miniatures that they usually use in Turnip28. So the lack of detail in the Kitbash does stand out more. Yeah, I think that is probably the thing, isn't it? The models that they're using for their stuff they're smaller to begin with, so there's not as much of a pressure to get the detail on there because they are smaller scale. But yeah, the actual miniatures themselves are a little bit more less ornate, aren't they? Really, a bit more straightforward. I did build some Turnip28 stuff before, and I basically just got a load of Perry heads, and I got some War Games Atlantic. What are they called now? The regiment builders. I can't remember exactly what kit it was, but they're basically like a really, really straightforward, simple. They're literally just torsos and heads, and that's it. They're really easy to build. So if you just stick Perry heads on the models and then put a little bit of green stuff and tufts and stuff like that on them, you can actually get some really nice effects. But yeah, I think you're right. I think the problem that I'm getting at the moment is the fact that I'm working with very detailed kits and trying to follow an aesthetic that isn't as detailed. Which is quite difficult, actually. I can probably get around a lot of it if I lean more heavily into the painting side of things and try and worry about making things look what they're supposed to look like in the painting phase. Name drop. Rather than worrying too much about getting everything perfect at this stage. I'm trying to build like some sort of oversized gorget here. I don't know. I think that's what I'm trying to do. Is that your frogman? I feel like it is. I'm trying to spread it out a bit more, really. But yeah, I do need a different tool. I need to. It's not quite hard enough. I should have mixed Milliput into it, to be honest. It gives it a little bit more rigidity for this kind of thing, for these kind of hard surface details. I'm not really sure where I'm going with it yet. I guess when in doubt, just poke holes in it, I suppose. Just make it look like a grill. Let's see what it looks like. I can always fix it afterwards if needs be. No, not feeling it. Not feeling it. Not feeling it. I think I need to... No. No, 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 no. Hey Pete, love the conversions. 2 questions. Do you plan on finishing all the legions for your... Oh, chat moved as I was doing it. Finishing all the legions for your 30k conversion vids, maybe with the new Mark III armor. Do you have any plans or ideas for the old world? So yeah, I basically have been holding off a bit because we it was teased, wasn't it? We kind of got an idea of what to expect with the Mark III around about, was it May time? Something like that, around about May. And I was kind of thinking, oh, okay, there's probably a few legions which are easy to do in a Mark III, so I was going to hold my horses. So yeah, when the Mark III gets released, I'm probably going to do a bit more of a return to that, because the next one was Space Wars, I think. So I've done Dark Angels, Emperor's Children, Iron Warriors, White Scars. Yeah, the next one is Space Wars, which I think will work quite well with the Mark III kit, to be honest. There's some kits which work better as... So I think Emperor's Children worked well as Mark VI. Not so much the Iron Warriors. I think I did an alright job of that one, though. White Scars, definitely. Dark Angels, meh. Raven Guard will look good in Mark VI. But Imperial Fists, definitely Mark III, I think. Do you think you'll finish all the Loyalist Demon Primarchs for Dawn in Heresy? I don't know. I've never really planned on doing all of them, to be honest. More that this is all. It's not going well. I'm kind of. I think I'm gonna go for a different plan. Let's go for a different direction. Let's do some actual kit bashing, shall we? This is a great kit. I should have just got to this kit first, to be honest. Don't know why it took so long. Trying to hold out, trying to do as little as I could do from other kits. So this is the Boingrot Bounders kit. It has some perfect heads. Look at those. I take this off now. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip away the head from the helmet. Again. Flatten that out. Come on. Last 10 minutes. I've got to get this guy done. I held off for nearly as long as I could do, but yeah. The goblin heads are just a lot better. Look at those. They're nice. The problem now is getting them to line up. So let's see if I can quickly figure this out. The last model of the stream. Can we do it? Try and make him less goblin-y, I guess, but it's going to be difficult. What I could do is if I clip away the bottom of this jaw here, so put it on camera. If I clip away the bottom of that and then flatten out the top and then possibly combine it with the helmet, I reckon I can get it to fit nicely. Let's see how it looks like if I just clip away the chin. It kind of pushes the head upright a bit more now. It's not as far forward. The problem is with I'm going to face now is that the goblin heads are a little bit further forward. So if I pop that there, I'm going to have to probably use a bit of green stuff or something just to. I'm going to remove the spikes though. I think that makes it look too goblin-y. For those of you joining, don't forget to hit the like so people can afford a pen and pad to keep track of all the bits he's using. Yeah. Honestly, I've got surprisingly good memory when it comes to where my stuff is, and I've been Trying to be very sensible. I'm going to cut the ears off as well. That's very goblin-y straight away. Trying to be very organised with all of my bits and bobs and put everything in boxes themed by faction. So all the one type of bit is in one place and all the other types of bits. So if I know I need something, I can go straight to that box and it's where I need it to be. That's better. Okay, I feel feeling it now. I'm getting the ideas. Just trying to basically move it as far away from the original goblin as possible. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be good enough. Should have just done this. I'm going to save myself so much time. Trim those down a little bit more. Last 8 minutes, can I do it? Can I get this? Can I get this in place? Probably won't do. So much confidence in myself. To be honest, it needs cleaning up. It needs adjusting. I can at least get the rough idea. Let's trim that jawline down a little bit. Yeah, let's stick that on, and then I can come back to it later and fill in the gaps if I need to. So what I need to do here is basically just fill in this gap. It can be anything though. I could probably fill it in with texture paste if I need to. Doesn't need to be anything particularly pristine or neat or anything like that. But yeah, no, I'm quite happy with what I've done. It's kind of been a bit of an experimentation stream. It's not been something that this is my proudest one though. I realise I'm tempted to. I wish I'd just gone for that kind of helmet on everything. I think that would have looked good. But yeah, I've kind of experimented a little bit with a few different helmet styles. I still think this is my favourite though. That's the first one that I did. This one's interesting. I think that'll look good painted. It'll look interesting, that one, definitely. It's just a strange idea. But yeah, no, thank you very much to everyone who was joining the stream. We're kind of coming up to the very, very end of it now. So if you have any final last few minute quick questions to ask, then please do ask them now. I will do my best to rapid fire as many as possible. There's a bit of a delay though, so I imagine by the time I finish asking this, hopefully we'll start seeing them coming through. But yeah, thank you everyone who joined the stream as well. This has been the first stream that I've done since February on YouTube, so thank you very much to everyone who has come along and joined me. Thank you to everyone who was watching my Twitch streams before. I really appreciate everyone who watched those. But yeah, if you have any ideas for what you'd like to see in these future streams, then feel free to leave them in the comments when this video gets uploaded as a VOD. And yeah, I think I'll... Could you make Corn Traitor Guard in the future? I think that's probably fairly straightforward to do, especially with the new guard models and all the new World Eater stuff. So yeah, probably fairly straightforward. I might do some little... What I might use the streams for is doing little kit bashes where people have said, oh, can you just do this? Can you just do that? As like it's just not really a full-on video's worth of work, but it's a good little extra. Traitor Garden for general is really cool. Yeah, we might do that next. We might do some Traitor. I haven't done any Traitor Guard for a while, so yeah, maybe we'll do some Traitor Guard next. We'll see. During recently, what are your thoughts on new cities models? I'm really pleased with them. Really like them. I quite like the aesthetic. It's a little bit more grimier, darker. It's its own thing in Age of Sigmar. And it's also very heavily in black powder, which I think is... I used to really like Null from the old world with like black powder arsenal, so yeah, quite happy with that. Let's go to face there. Have you ever thought about kit bashing yourself into a model? No, I haven't actually. Maybe I will do it. Maybe we will do in the future. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. It's always there. But yeah, cool. I will call it there. Call it there. Thank you very much to everyone who joined the stream and everyone who has continued subscriber, Patreon supporter, YouTube member, everything like that. Thank you very much. Much appreciated for your support. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Sunday, however long you've got left, wherever you are in the world. And yeah, I will probably be doing... I will try to make this weekly. It's a good start. But I don't think I'll be able to stream next Sunday. It's going to be tricky streaming on Sunday. So I might do it on another day. I'm not sure yet. Maybe on the Monday night instead. We'll see. So thank you very much to everyone who has a yanking boost bar right at the end. Thank you very much. I do appreciate everyone who joined. And I will see you